And welcome back to All-Star Fandom Prime. I'm your host, Dion, alongside Jen. Unfortunately, Doc's out tonight, but tonight's show is a big one. If you grew up in the 90s, it's the show that didn't just define a generation of X-Men fans. It arguably launched the entire era of Marvel adaptations we're still living in today. I'm talking about X-Men, the animated series. Boy, it's so near and dear to my heart. And joining us right now are two people the most responsible for making that magic happen. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric and Julia Lewald, welcome to All-Star Fandom Prime.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you all so much. This is fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming out.
Happy to get you. Thanks again. Thank you. But yeah, we're going to dive into your history with the X-Men and X-Men X-Men 97, season 1, maybe some season 2 stuff. Who knows what we can get away with? But
depending on the mouse.
Happy to have you.
Well, Eric and Julia, in case the people don't know, you guys are pillars in the animation space. You have done things like RoboCop, The Avengers, Madeline, Beetlejuice, Tailspin, Chip and Dale, Gargoyles, and so much more. Cat Dog. And you guys are the showrunners. Eric, you are the head writer on X-Men, the animated series from 92 to 97. And Julia, you wrote the series and have been his creative partner for decades. What I have to know, what is the meet cute? How did you guys meet? How did you feel that spark? Because I'm assuming it's in the animation space and not like on an airplane, like Harry Met Sally or at a coffee shop.
It was at work.
How did you meet?
There was no HR that back then. I don't think.
No,
it was at work.
It was at work, but it was at work. We were able to actually pin down the date when I got my first professional writing gig. Was writing for the Disney Afternoon. My first job was writing for Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. I've been pounding the pavement for 10 years. I'm telling you, 10 years to crack in and do side gigs and things. But the first real opportunity was jumped at it was Disney Animation and their afternoon. And there was a fellow who was going to be taking a leave of absence to go work on a live action film. And as he's leaving, I'm coming in, and a mutual friend of ours who worked there. You haven't met? Okay, yeah. Hey. Say hi to Eric. Say hi to Julia.
So she pulled us each aside and lied to us and said, "Oh man, Eric seems to think you're really special. I've never seen him act like this." She did the same thing there. Julia's never acted. So we had somebody set us up.
But it was 6 months before he came back.
Yeah. I came back 6 months later. She'd been at my desk.
Yeah, well, that's not you were gone.
Because I'd left and there was a space open on Chippendale, and I'd done 3 or 4. She ended up doing 14. And so
writing scripts. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so I came back, and I got office next to hers, and we reacquainted after 6 months after being set up back in April. Now it's the fall. And I think by January, pretty soon we were engaged.
I say this because, again, I was 30 when I met you. And I say that just to say, folks, it doesn't happen. I grew up in Texas. It's like, if you're not engaged by the age of 18, something's wrong. No, I moved to California.
Yeah.
Claude, got a job, and in doing that, got to meet you, and got to meet you while I was doing the thing I absolutely loved.
So she didn't want to spoil it. So we got on a date the next day. I said, "That was nice." And she said, "No, we can't do it. Because something's going to happen, and we're going to split up, and I'm going to ruin my job, and we can't have an office thing. No. Go away."
In defense of that,
she wanted to banish you after the first date.
Yeah, because she's so afraid it was going to screw up her job. Yeah, she had to find time too,
but we were both in the same department doing the same thing. You weren't my supervisor. I wasn't your supervisor. So there was a genuine equality that
there was no HR deal. It's just that she was so happy. She was so happy to have this job.
Oh my God!
I just stepped in. I was going to ruin it.
Yep.
Because I wanted to go out with her.
Here's a man.
You just had to come back.
Okay, since you seem to be enjoying this story, there's one more factoid that I found amusing.
Please.
I got the opportunity because a writer was leaving for 6 months and they needed to fill the gap. Okay, that was me. Well, they gave me his office and his computer and his desk because go back to 1988 was this date.
Yeah.
Big
Wow.
size computers, so I get plot there. Someone had left his tax returns on that computer.
Oh no!
Unintentionally, that was the best year I ever had, and so I left this little hint that I'd be a good match because I actually had a paycheck.
You should be really responsible with your finances.
I'm just saying, it's like it was right there. I didn't know what I was looking at.
That's good.
Figured it out.
That is so good.
Yeah.
That's sort of
Anyway,
like
here we
like
are.
leaving your bank statement there, like, hey, look at that.
Yeah. So and now we're 36 years in.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It still surprises us. Again, we worked from a home office and started doing that shortly after we left Disney, 3 years after all that. And our desks are maybe 6 feet apart over there on the side, and we work from home.
All those shows that you saw listed. I mean, we did them all here in the little, ADU attached to the garage behind our house.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's funny doing the work when we're doing the work. It's like you're focused. And it's like, oh yeah, hi, is it time for lunch? Okay, we can be side by side and just not be interacting.
We don't work together like a lot of comedy writers. They bounce things off each other constantly. She just goes off for 6 hours and works on one thing. I work on another thing, and we kind of look at them when they're done. It's okay. And so it's not a team melody. It's like
it can be if someone's hiring us to write together on a project, but if not, then we're happy to work for each other. I've been your story editor, you've been mine. I've written for you, you've written for me.
Yeah,
we've written for other people. What do you need?
Yeah.
We're happy to help you out. To show you something in a size 10. Want an open toe? We can do an open toe.
Yeah.
Something in a size 10 with an open toe. I love it.
Hey.
Well, there's a lot in there that I want to go back to, but you're good. I love it. Thank you so much. Like I have to mind myself because I will jump ahead and then I'm going to throw Dion off. But what I wanted to ask was, because you guys have been writing in the animation space for so long, what was that entry point for you all that inspired you to even go down this path for careers? Like, was there a certain film or cartoon you saw growing up that you're like, I want to freaking do that?
Both of us, it was just dumb luck that we fell into something that we had a talent for. I didn't come out I grew up in East Tennessee. I didn't come out here to do animation, although I loved like Warner Brothers cartoons from the old time, times.
Nice, yeah.
And Bullwinkle and stuff that was funny. But I always wanted to make movies and write for television, write for TV and movies. And the first door that opened for me after a couple of years of trying was a neighbor was working at Hanna-Barbera, and they suddenly needed twice as many writers because syndication happened in 84 or so, where they'd go from, it used to be just they'd order 13 Smurfs or whatever for Saturday morning and run those for a year. Now they say, well, we could run them Monday through Friday, run shows. So we'll do a 65 order for 13 weeks.
Wow.
And so that hit with the support of the toy merch companies. About the time when I was trying to knock on doors and break into anything in Hollywood. And so I went by, and my buddy and I from Tennessee pitched a few story ideas or showed him a spec script. They said, okay, you can write okay. We'll let him pitch. And we got one assignment. It was a Challenge of the GoBots, which was a Transformer competitor back in the 80s. The little toys. And we got along so well with the showrunner that each of us ended up doing 6 of them. So that was the foot in the door. And I didn't stop working for about 20 years. Just boom. There was one show after another. But that was it. Animation found me. I wasn't looking for animation. And same thing for her. I was thinking of like R-rated action movies, and she was thinking of
live action primetime TV. That was my dream goal. I came out from Texas with the same I'm going to move to Hollywood and I'm going to break in somehow. And again, this is before the internet. This is before it was it was a slog.
And so the history for me was more loving to watch and tell heroic stories, and that fit with X-Men. Ended up fitting with X-Men and some of the other stuff we were doing. I mean, even with GoBots, my buddies and I pretended we were doing, big epic action, dramatic, heroic movies in our heads. And so we fit in because we'd all worked on little, independent films. That was we were trying to get in the business when we were younger, when we were in our 20s. And animation, they let you do a lot more of the kind of directing and describing what's going on the screen. If you do something like a sitcom, they basically want you to just do the dialogue.
Because the director is going to direct how the characters move.
Sure.
In a
scene. But if you're doing a big action show and you've got 6 X-Men and 5 villains to choreograph and planets exploding and planes going everywhere, they like to have more detail in the scripts. Mm-hmm. And so that was really satisfying.
It's because you're then handing it off to a whole army of people who will then take what you've written and have to transcribe that into amazing art.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
you've got animation work after that.
Spell out what you're trying to. You have to explain what you're trying to show, so other people can see it and do it.
So
too.
So you really have to be detailed in your writing, from just not only just the characters and the dialogue and the situation, but like A has to go to B, and then B has to go to C, and then C is D, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. With X-Men, our scripts tended to be 35 to 40 pages for 22 minutes.
Right.
When we did a Young Hercules with Ryan Gosling, live action show, and we did like 50 episodes of that. It was great. It was wonderful. They were 20 pages, 20 pages. So we half
because it's live action.
The length. Yeah, because we just said, okay, here these 3 characters have a fight with these guys over this bridge. And here's what they say to each other. With the animation, we did a lot more for the artists, so the artists aren't just saying, "Well, what am I supposed to draw here?" So that was something we had to learn, both to add to our animation writing and to pull back when we were doing live action, because the live action actors didn't want us to tell all the details. They want to do that on set.
Wow.
So that sort of brings me to another question too. Since have you both seen a project that you said like you wish you could have worked on, or like, man, I would have liked to have been on that?
Oh shoot, yeah.
I mean, a couple hundred. But
what's the one in your mind that you're like, that one?
We came out here, each of us from the middle of the country with no connections out here, but we each came having been childhood original Star Trek fans.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God, yes.
So when we met, it was like, you think you know Star Trek? What about this episode?
You got into the battle of nerdom.
Oh my God.
Nerded out on each other over the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
And that's one that we would just, you die and go to heaven.
That was an option. I mean, timeline wise, like that had already wrapped up before either of us even got out of our states to get to California. But I'll take it any of the Star Trek, just because it's Star Trek. Yeah. I mean, but it's Star Trek the original is the one near and dear.
And I like some of the heavier dramatic hour shows on TV, like The Wire, The Sopranos, or Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah,
insanely good.
So those kind of heavy dramas were the things that just hooked me and make me want to watch them over and over.
We have a sideways Star Trek story. If you haven't heard us say this on a different,
please share. Please share.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
you got the toy.
I got the toy.
You got the toy. Oh my God.
So Eric. Book, please.
Yeah.
For folks who can look.
I wrote back in 2016, 2017. I wrote a book previously on X-Men, and I interviewed everybody that worked on the show, all the actors and the writers, and
as many as you could.
The artists. Missed a couple, but got just about everybody. And to tell them about, it wasn't a Marvel supported thing because X-Men was off the air by then.
No one had all the rights in one place. We were doing this on our own.
Something we discovered which we didn't know.
Hang on. Wait a second. Okay, so think of Apocalypse. Think of our Apocalypse.
Of our Apocalypse and his voice. And our Apocalypse, we discovered, was voiced by the very first Klingon.
Oh, wow.
Yo!
John Colicos.
John Colicos
was the very first Apocalypse on X-Men.
First season of Star Trek.
And he was the first Klingon ever in Star Trek. And we lost our minds when we found out, but unfortunately,
that is
he'd
dope.
already passed. Come on.
Wow.
So tangentially, I got a little bit of Star Trek dust there.
Yeah.
Just by, yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Thank you for sharing.
That's cool.
I want
a fandom that brought them together and everything. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's wild. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you all, because you said something interesting a little bit ago, because of the long career you've had in writing. How has merchandising affect the work you do with animation writing, with shows getting additional seasons, that process? Because you know they want to produce toys. Like, how does that affect your work?
Earlier, like in the 80s and 90s, there were various sort of imperatives from the folks who would sponsor the projects that would then be in syndication, and that means that the folks who would buy the commercial time, had a vested interest in what the show was.
They wanted to sell Transformers.
Yeah,
and so they were very interested in what you did with the characters and which characters, which toys you used, and which ones you didn't use, and product placement and all of that. And you kind of had to respect that, because animation is very expensive. I mean, with X-Men, it was all hand painted. It was hundreds of thousands of drawings to make an episode. Yeah. Just because there's 9 or 10 deep every time they took a 1/12 of a second photograph. So it was a very expensive long-term project.
But it was also, there were strict rules in place. The show itself couldn't be a commercial for whatever the product was.
Yeah,
there were real rules in place.
Yeah.
Now we have another funny story. Okay. So that was happening more than, and nowadays series episodes are getting 6-episode orders, and that's your season. Series are getting, 8 episodes for 2 seasons, and then that's the whole run of the show. But back then, 13 episodes a season was
for Saturday morning, or 40 to 65 if you're doing it in the afternoon.
X-Men, when X-Men happened, you and everyone on the show were hired for a 13 episode order. And there was no confidence from the folks at the upper up that the show was going to work, except for
Margaret Lesh.
A woman named Margaret Lesh, who was the president of FoxKids, who made the X-Men show happen. And she literally put her job on the line, that if the X-Men crashed, she was going to be out of a job. And she signed the paper. She did it. But there were a lot of hurdles to get. And then after that, you got an order for season 2, and then after
13 more, and then they realized, okay, this is making us a stack of money, so let's do 39 more
to make 65.
But the first 13 that you saw in the first season that ends with Scott proposing to Jean on the beach, we all were let go. We all were working on other stuff for 3 months, waiting for the show to premiere, because it took 4 months to draw it and animate it. And so we're off. We got babies. We got to work. We're working. I was working on a show called setting up a show called Exo Squad while we were waiting for the show to come out, and there were a couple of tease early shows of it, but in January when it came out, it was just suddenly this huge hit. And nobody had planned for that. There was all sorts of, pushback on Margaret and on us creatively, saying, "What is this in the world are you doing with this show? It's so adult. It's so dark. Where's the goofy sidekick? Where's the silly humor?
Where's the dog?
Yeah, and all this. The people that had TV stations in each market, or were planning on being advertisers. They saw a script and they said, we can't sell cereal to this stuff. This is like, NYPD Blue or something. What's going on? And so Margaret had to fight all those people to keep them from, because they were putting the money up, and it was their TV ratings that were at stake. And she had to talk to them and say, you got to understand, the entire creative team believes in this. All the artists and all the writers believe in this. Please let them try. And so they really thought that they would go for a couple of weeks, nobody'd watch, and we'd be done. And that's why we'd all been let go, and there's no second season to the contract.
And that's why you crafted the season to end with episode 13.
Yeah.
Because if that was the whole series run for X-Men, those were 13.
That was just going to end with a marriage proposal, and we were going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly it's a number one hit. What are we going to? They call us all up. Can you come back? Can you come back? Can you come back? And about 70-80% of us came back. We're able to. Others were committed to other stuff. So we lost some people.
Okay, and I've got to tell, as a writer on the show, I was.
You want to know about toys?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I've probably had those.
The show was a hit, and as a writer, you get paid per script. It's like, oh yeah, you get to write another script, hopefully for season 2 for X-Men. This is great. It's a big hit. There's going to be a huge raise for all the writers, right? No.
Hallelujah.
No. Chaim Saban, who had a hand in financing it, known for being how tight he could be.
But he's a billionaire, and we're not. So, the man knows what he's doing.
He looked around and said, expenses are going up on this. Screw that. Everybody in town's it's a number one hit. Everybody in town's going to want to write on this. So we're knocking $1,000 off the script fees.
Yeah.
For season 2.
Yeah.
That was that's what the writers got. That was the reward for giving this man a number one hit.
Yeah. You were decent though. You personally.
I made it up. I made it up short, but
that's again right. Oh, okay.
These are the these are Australian Happy Meals.
Okay.
This is Magneto and Storm in their little tricycles.
And here's Wolverine, and here's Scott. These 4 were made for the Australian Australian McDonald's.
Yeah,
and they were going to be promoted.
And so, just to give you an idea of some of the stuff we had to deal with, we got our production people got a call saying, "You have to show these in all the episodes." Yeah. So you have to have Storm going around in a tricycle. You have to have Magneto going around in a tricycle.
But they can levitate. They can fly. Why do they need a tricycle? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We've got a contract. We've got a contract with Marvel. Put it in. If you don't do it, we're going to fire all of you.
Yeah.
And
that's a great quid pro quo.
and so Margaret and the production people and artists held the ground. It was about a 3 or 4 minute. A 3 or 4 day.
Oh no, it was a standoff.
Standoff. And finally we said, look, if you make us put the tricycles in, we're all walking. And they backed down. And somebody paid off the Australians, but
the toys were produced and they were used in Australia, and you can find them occasionally on eBay to this day. But that
just seemed like that was a thing though too, because I'm thinking back now. Like I watched Ninja Turtles like everybody else did. Too. Like same. 13. I think the first episodes were like super well drawn, but great story arcs within it. But then that second season is like 60 episodes, and they got blimped for some reason. Now they have skateboards and stuff. Like granted, I had them, but I understood at the time. I didn't understand at the time. I was like, oh man, that's a blimp. Why do they need a blimp? Oh, we can sell more toys, man. Like they're on a blimp. Who needs a blimp? But anyway.
One more here.
Ooh,
2 more here. Okay. Here, honey.
Yeah.
Dion, look, Dion.
Hello, this is a Wolverine. We got called at the Wolverine telephone just when we were finishing the last scripts for the first season. We got a call from Toy Biz.
So cool.
Toy Biz had just bought into Marvel, and Toy Biz said, "What can what kind of theme of toys can you put on screen?"
Right.
And we said, "Well, these are real X-Men, real 30-year-olds fighting real life and death things. Wolverine's not going to have a Wolverine phone or Wolverine curtains or Wolverine pajamas, which were the few things they had available." And
not as that.
Luckily, the toy company had just bought in. They didn't have any leverage. They were just requesting that we put something and say, okay, we'll show that you've got a Blackbird. We'll show the Blackbird a couple more times than we would have. But we got requests like that. Okay, have Wolverine call on the Wolverine telephone. And just stuff that people think is good for business. It has nothing to do with storytelling and nothing to do with making the fans happy. It just makes the companies think that the merch is being seen. So yeah, those are weird things to deal with that have nothing to do with storytelling.
It doesn't. But speaking as a kid at that time, if I saw Wolverine pick up a Wolverine phone, and then I'm walking in the store and I see a Wolverine phone, I'm gonna be like,
I'm pulling my mom's shirt. I need it.
Well, he used it on this episode. He used it then.
Yeah, it's real.
It's real. It's real. But,
I can have the exact same phone as Wolverine. Please let me have one.
But just to sort of circle back to before you all, what's really fascinating is that you get hired for X-Men, the animated series, but you really didn't know much about the X-Men comics.
No, we did not. We did not. It was such a shock, and we just had to be quiet while we were all with Stan Lee and all these people. We're talking about what the show needs to be, and I just think, I've never held an X-Men comic in my hand. It was the night before we met all the Marvel people. I got a call from the head guy right under Margaret at Cindy Iwater, our favorite crazy man from Wisconsin.
Executive on the show.
Yeah, who was our immediate boss. And he said, I need you, Eric, I need you to run this show. And it's X-Men. I said, that's a Marvel property, right? He said, yeah, and you're meeting all the people tomorrow morning. So just shut up and get through the meeting and don't say anything. And because I got hired because I'd written half a dozen things for him before, nothing to do with Marvel. Just I worked on did a season of Beetlejuice for him
as a story editor, as
the showrunner, and then I'd done a year of I met him at a Japanese company called TMS back in the late '80s, which did the Mighty Orbots and Galaxy High. And so he was the head development guy there. There were only like 4 people in the office. And I worked for him, writing for him. So I had 2 years experience with the guy who had the main voice in choosing who was going to run the show.
Now, he hired you to be a story editor for a new show coming out. And
he wouldn't tell us what it was. It was all secret. It was all Marvel stuff.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be
lock and key in a briefcase. With a handcuff.
I thought it was going to be Killer Tomatoes. And I was really going to start on that. That we were all going to do. That's what we were going to work on.
We had friends who ended up working on that show.
But I got the call the night before. Said, no, it's not Killer Tomatoes. It's X-Men. So just get your butt in here and don't say anything during the whole meeting, and everything will be fine. You'll read the comics real fast.
But there's no 24-hour internet. There's no 24-hour comic shop.
That is crazy. Yeah.
No way to Google it.
Yeah.
No
Google during the time period. I have 2 questions. The first one, you mentioned Stan Lee. What was Stan like?
All sorts of he was really creative and energetic. He was basically my age back then. I was in my 30s and he was 69, 70. And he had more energy than anybody in the room.
Yes.
And he wanted to run everything and believed he should run everything. Not in an immediately mean way, but just he really thought that. And the X-Men he'd written in 63, 64 were the teenagers, all that kind of looked the same in their blue uniforms. And so he didn't know half the characters, and he had a very much younger idea of what the show should be. And so we're doing the show, and all of the artists and all the producers and all of the writers, we all thought X-Men should be basically the show you saw, which is a very much more mature, older, post-75, post-giant X-Men group of characters and tone and focus of the show. And that is not what Stan wanted. So Stan worked for 3 or 4 months trying to talk his friend Margaret Lesh into making us change it, or if we wouldn't change us, get rid of us and let him take over. So that was a little. Now we became friendly with him and worked with him on other stuff afterwards. So it wasn't like we took it personally.
Our dogs are going nuts. I have to.
Yeah, I'll chat for a minute. You're good. Where we're going to the dogs, or shut the we'll shut the door. That way that we won't.
Hey, we're pet owners here. No worries.
Yeah. So
the
Stan thing in this book that I wrote of like 6 things that could have really changed the show and one was, how do you say no to Stan Lee? Because there was a big kind of showdown where he went above Margaret to like the head of Fox and said, this guy isn't changing the show the way I want him to. And I had to stand up. I'd never met the head of the studio before. So the first time I meet him, I got to stand up and say, well, look, we all love Stan. And, we know we respect him and we respect, but you're kind of hired and paying me to run the show. And I'll put in everything I can that I agree with that, he's suggesting, but if I think it's hurting the show, either let me do my job or just let me go. And I had to say, I'm going to walk away from the best job offer I ever had in my life, or you need to do something with Stan, or you need to get rid of me. And so there was a wonderful man, Will Mineo, who was the head supervisor, head producer, head designer on the entire show, who we all respected and we all loved, who had known Stan for 20 years and had worked with Stan before. And so he stepped in and was the diplomat and said, look, I will get all of Stan's concerns and I will bring them to Eric. We will talk through what he can put in and what he can't. And I'll take that back to Stan and we'll understand. And we did that for 4 or 5 episodes. And by the time when it came out and it was a huge hit, then there was no more, we need to change it completely. It was like, let's
done. Roll with this.
Done deal. So that was over. But there's that 4-month gap when you're writing and drawing and animating, and no one's seen it yet. And nobody knows. People put all these millions of dollars into making a TV show, and they don't know if it's going to fall on its face and lose everybody money. And Stan's sitting there saying, "Oh, it's terrible! It's terrible! It never worked this way. Let me do it. Let me do it."
Well, and Marvel to that time had never had a successful animated project. They'd had the Incredible Hulk on primetime.
Yeah, and then like a year of Spider-Man back in the 60s. They really hadn't, it had never quite worked, and they'd never been happy with what Hollywood had done with their stuff. And so it was a real, I give Margaret credit because she backed us all the creative staff up and said, look, I believe in your vision for this. Even if I have to resist my buddy Stan, they were close.
Very close. They worked together.
And she said, we got to give them a chance to see if this works. And it did. And then there were no fights basically for the next 4 seasons. That was once it was obvious that people liked it and that it connected with the fans, then the criticism stopped.
With that, was there a single decision made that you look back on and think, this one choice shaped everything for the series?
Yeah. I think picking the right team was important, and Will Mineo and Larry Houston and I spent a good deal of time working that out. There's a wonderful guy from Marvel named Bob Harris who was in charge of all the X-Men books. And we talked through, because there were 29 different people that had been X-Men from 63 to 92 during that 30 years.
In the books.
And we had to pick which 6 or 7 were going to be the main characters. And then my head writer, Mark Edens, who's a buddy of mine from Tennessee, who has credit on like 15 of them and probably worked on 30 of them, and helped me lay out the first 2 seasons. At our dining room table. Because there was no studio.
Wow.
Yeah. He and I decided we absolutely needed to kill somebody, a real X-Men, the first story.
Because?
More so that everyone would understand that being an X-Men wasn't pretend struggle, wasn't pretend jeopardy. It was real stakes, and Morph needs to die.
And I'm hearing this going, oh, what? Okay.
So we actually looked up to find somebody to kill. And in the first draft of the script, it was going to be Thunderbird.
Wow.
Because Native American character.
Larry Houston, who knew the books backwards and forwards, was able to suggest some characters. Well, here's a character who sacrificed him or herself in the books. Maybe you could put that in as an X-Men.
Yeah, because we had Thunderbird in, and that's why there's Thunderbird's brother is in the credits, because that was designed before we changed it to Morph.
But so
if you look at the original credits,
when they're running at
Thunderbird's
team.
when they're running at each other, the title credits, Thunderbird's brother, whose name I forget, Warpath, is on the bad guy's side there, and that was because the artists had taken the time to draw Thunderbird to be the sacrificial X-Men in the first story. And then someone looked and said, well, look, this is the only Native American character that you got, and you're going to kill him, pick somebody else. So Larry picked 3 or 4 people that had sacrificed.
Yeah, we're looking at this.
They're
right
there.
Right there.
There they are. Yeah.
He is.
There's Warpath.
And the guy with the little pink head was an accident. Long story.
Long story. But so that's why there was a character named Changeling that had sacrificed his life for the X-Men. And so we picked him and we named him. And then the lawyers called and said, there's a DC Changeling, so you can't use our Changeling.
But
your
Changeling
says that you can use the drawing, you can use the character, you can use the history of him sacrificing himself. You got to change his name. So this
was also DC's character was 10 years younger than the Marvel character.
The lawyers were too nervous, so they
said,
just come up with a new name. So I came up with Morph as a name, and he was there specifically to die. And we were never going to see him again. It was all over. It was all over. And then the show is a huge hit. They ask a room full of 9-year-olds.
Focus group.
Who their favorite character was, like 60 episodes in. Morph won with the landslide. And so Sydney, the executives called us. Is there any way you can bring him back? I know we killed him.
I know why you killed him.
I know we let you kill him, but it happened off screen. So maybe it could be one of those comic
if you don't see it,
it's that weird rule. Yeah. If you don't see it, did it happen?
Soap opera.
Like soap operas, exactly. So we were really pissed about that, but we thought, okay.
But in defense of that, though, with bringing Morph back, I think the show was really able to explore some really dark stuff that Morph went through when he thought he was being abandoned by the X-Men. There's some very compelling stories.
Yeah, I think. PTSD kind of stories with him.
But also, I want to give a shout out to the executive at FoxKids who gave you the go-ahead to.
Right. Oh yeah, Avery Coburn. Wonderful woman.
There's a person there who's the executive broadcast standards and practices, and basically the censor. And that's the person, nothing goes on the air without the okay.
Especially in kids' television.
Oh, my God.
And children's television, very strict rules.
Very strict.
And Julia was sure that the killing Morph would never get through.
Never going to fly.
But she understood. She liked the books and she understood.
And so
that was actually one of the questions we were going to ask, because these shows deal with mature themes and prejudice and social justices, and you've touched on that. And the fact that you got the go ahead and the push, like, no, we need to do this. We have to do this within the writing. I think that's a really dope that you had that support with your work, and it shows trust that what you were doing was correct and they saw the value in it. I do want to go back to something, because you touched on some things at the top of the show, and then you've been touching on it throughout our conversations, because we all know you fell in love with cartoon writing together, and you've been talking about it a little bit already. What is it like to work from home together, being married and partners? Like, do you guys have boundaries where if you're at the kitchen table, you don't discuss work? Or are you eating spaghetti and meatballs and you are debating, like what you just said, we have to have this character die? And then one person the other person does. What is that like being at home with that kind of dynamic?
I think the biggest obstacle I face is that around 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock, when I'm supposed to, it's like, we're entering the manic portion of the evening.
She starts getting all these ideas.
As we're going to bed.
Please, I'll go into the kids' room, whatever.
Stop it. And then, but no, it's a really good idea. But no, you said it best, I think, just in terms of, again, I met you when I was doing the thing I dreamt of getting the chance to do. And you were doing what you love to do, too, as just being a writer in that environment, in that world. You say it's kind of the joy of it is that I understand what he's going through on a day, and he knows what I'm going through, because we do it.
It's like we're army buddies. It's not like I'm coming back from a terrible day at the studio and my wife, why do you look so frustrated? How hard could your job be? We know we have to deal with the same stresses and the same problems and so it's really easy to empathize with each other.
Yeah,
that's nice.
One of us has had a problem.
That's really good, because I would imagine that when you're having those hard days, you can come to each other going, I can't believe this person is making these decisions. They don't get it. How would you approach it? You could just play off of each other that way.
Oh, very much so.
Absolutely.
Very much so. Yeah, that's the one thing I miss the most by working out of a home office as we do is I just miss the camaraderie and the water cooler conversation that we had at Disney Animation.
It was wonderful.
Oh my God.
For 3 years, there were like 100 of us, artists and writers on 2 floors and all about the same age, all around 30 and just having a great time.
The best artists, the best writers. It was just the smartest, funniest people. It was just, that was wonderful.
We didn't get as much work done, but
well, you didn't maybe,
So we get to the show premiered on Halloween in 1992, Night of the Sentinels. Paint that picture for us. Where were you? Who were you with? What were you feeling in those minutes sort of leading up when it aired or before it aired?
So October 31st, 1992. The thing about that, had you talked about the premiere issue about good old X-Men, the animated series. It was, okay, the biggest show coming out that year on FoxKids was Batman, the animated series.
And Batman and X-Men were supposed to come out together in September.
Be a 1-2 punch.
But Batman they've been working on it for about 2 years, and we've been working on it for about 6 months. Yeah. And so we're going as fast as we could. And it was just a much bigger show than the animation budget and the animators had planned for. And so the stuff started coming back, and it didn't look right. It wasn't tight enough yet. It wasn't ready. And so Margaret made the decision to delay X-Men till January.
Gotcha.
Huge consequences.
Decision.
Huge decision.
Okay.
Because so here are television stations and advertisers who are going to have to watch reruns of other shows for 4 months where they'd been promised X-Men and Batman. Yeah. And so they had to take that financial hit, saying, "Look, it'll be fine, but you want the show to be right." And she fought for it, and she won. And so the delay happened, and someone, probably Margaret, thought, "Wait a minute,
there's enough good of episode 1 and episode 2. Those are working. We can show those.
We fixed episode 1 and 2. The rest are looking terrible or not done yet. But we can do a sneak preview and get the fans excited."
Gotcha.
And so they did it for Halloween.
And do it on prime time on Fox. Not just FoxKids, but prime time Fox. And I thought, great, but it's Halloween.
All
one night a year.
The kids are just going to be out trick-or-treating.
Yeah. We thought it would be a problem, but it did well.
It did. Boffo numbers.
And then the Fox Kids thing, the club, Fox Kids Club, they called fans and said, "What's your favorite Fox show?"
Send in your postcard.
Yeah, like 2 weeks later, they said that. And X-Men won in a landslide, even though there had only been one episode shown.
Wow.
So they showed it again on Thanksgiving.
Fox Kids Club takes over Fox, and so that prime time again.
And then, so we've heard other people say this. Okay, now the show's really going to premiere on the 8th of January. They're getting ready to go, and the kids all thought there was going to be a new episode, but it was the same one again.
Oh, God!
It was a third time.
But they stuck around, so by the time episode 3
it turned out to be a brilliant decision on her part to wait.
And because of that, it gave the show time to get fixed, because good Lord, the problems behind
it.
Yeah. But that also, in the building of that, by the time X-Men came out, and again, this was all untested territory back then, starting new episodes in January, by that time, all the shows on Saturday morning had run through their first 13 episodes.
So they were in repeat, and we were the new show.
The new show.
So
that's dope.
Weird things you can't plan for. You cannot plan for them, but it worked out that way, and it worked out that way for X-Men.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
So then when the premiere actually finally happens with all of these loopholes you have to go through to, fight for, getting the show right, cleaning it up. Like, when you finally saw the premiere of the whole thing, how did you feel? Were you like, "Thank you, Holy Spirit, I need a beer"? Or you were like, "Oh, we could have fixed that one thing. There was one more thing."
There were always those little things, but generally we're so relieved. And I think the relief came in October when we saw it. So this actually seems to work. The story's working. It is for us. It's work because it looks like it should work on the script page. The storyboard drawings are nice, but it doesn't mean that there's something magic about storytelling and television where you have all these wonderful, talented people working on a show, and it just doesn't come across. It's like music. Okay, it seems like it would have been a good song. Nobody likes it. and there's no way. It's like a magic thing. You don't know till it's all together. And so we thought it would be good. Then we saw it as he was saying, we saw it on Halloween. I thought, okay, this has a chance.
It has a chance.
And then it shows in January, and it has huge numbers. And we said, oh my God. The feeling was, and I think it took till 5 or 6 episodes. Yeah. We're going to get more work. That was the biggest thing.
That's the metric.
That, we made our 13 paychecks.
We're secured.
Yeah. We spent a year getting those 13 paychecks. It looks like we might get another season, and that's on the writer's side. That's always the thing: is what's the next work? What's the next work? Because we're always freelance. Nobody's on staff. Nobody's guaranteed a check the next week, and you just have to keep selling your shows. And we really didn't know if this was going to get picked up. And boom, once we saw it was successful, we thought, oh, good. The diapers are paid for.
We had 2 babies.
I like that. The diapers are paid for.
Now we had, I'm shifting back, but a question came up. What was like the one big hurdle that you thought if you didn't fix that one, it was all going to fall apart? And something that I want to mention, because our show was budgeted at peanuts, and we were here in Los Angeles doing the writing and the preliminary art. The voice talent was all cast in Toronto, and that was save money.
Okay.
There was also a rich history in Toronto of doing children's animation voices. So you and Larry, you send up the sides to start trying to find casting. And 1992, there had been no successful kind of Marvel thing. And X-Men was the biggest book at the time, but back then, pop culture, the comic book world was much smaller.
And there hadn't been movies or TV shows that had gotten it right. Yeah. And so even though we were dealing with the best people in Toronto who had done good work for Fox before, like had worked on Beetlejuice and other things.
Yeah,
we sent up the first script. We sent up the Sentinels, and we got
back for the voice actors.
Yes, we got back the overnight the snail mail audio cassette.
Oh my gosh!
With them doing the 2 episodes, and they were horrible. They were like Scooby-Doo X-Men, little comic cartoony voices.
They didn't know.
They didn't know. He said, "Well, that's all they'd ever done. They had not done a serious adult animated show before." So we just thought, oh God, it's all over. It's gonna crash and burn.
Everything is ruined.
Everything is ruined. All of these 6 months of work is for nothing. These are the voices we're gonna get. So our buddy Larry Houston, who was the head director on 66 of the episodes,
and knew the characters
by heart, comic book.
Yeah.
And Sydney Iwanter, the executive, and a couple people from Marvel.
Bob Harris.
And Bob Harris from Marvel.
An editor for the comic books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They all went and sat with the people in Toronto and recast everything.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, we're going to go through this until we get people that sound, that have the gravitas for the villains, and Wolverine sounds feral, and Rogue sounds sexy and Southern. We're going to spend however many weeks it takes to get this right. And then when they did the actual recordings they then re-recorded the pilot 4 or 5 times with the cast they got. And we got the voices. We got, like I said, the voices back, and they were so good. It's like they overcompensated. Wow. They missed so badly the first time. They super pressed to make sure that the voices were as intense as we kept on asking for, or more so. And we think we probably ended up with a better cast from a reaction to the first failure than if we hadn't had the first failure.
And a couple short stories from that I so enjoy. We weren't there, but Larry and Sydney and Bob Harris, the Marvel book editor, were there, and said when Cal Dodd, who had a big career in Canadian broadcasting at that time,
but had never done a voiceover character,
dragged his feet, but finally went in to audition for Wolverine.
Wow!
And he's reading this, and everyone's up in the voice booth, and so
And Caldo's like, what do you want me to do with this guy?
And Sydney Eiwanger said, well, he's feral. That was all Sydney.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's feral.
Yeah, and so Cal just growled into the microphone, and everybody stood up in the booth saying, okay, we got our guy.
He wasn't even reading lines. He was just, okay, he gets it.
He just growled at the executives.
We found Waldo.
and that's the wild thing is like, as I read comic books now, those are the voices I hear.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
They're
like, because of these X-Men, Batman, Spider-Man, whatever, these are the voices I hear every time I pick up a comic now. And I thank you for that so much.
I will not argue about Hugh Jackman. I'm not going to argue about Hugh Jackman. But
he's wonderful.
When I see Wolverine, I hear Cal Dodd. In my head.
That's very interesting to hear from your side of all of it, that you actually had voice about the voice actors to a point because of the characters. So so like did what Dion said. Thank you so much.
we didn't get a chance to meet the voice talent until
I did this book 20 years
they were all
later
up in Toronto.
Wow.
They were never down here for us to meet them.
We had 76 episodes of them acting to us, and we listened to their voice, so we got to know them like people by listening to them and giving them notes, and then they would do a polish the next week from our notes, but we never spoke to them on the phone.
Wow.
It's just the voice director took our notes and implemented them.
So that sort of leads me to our next question. So show's a hit, but it ends in 1997.
Right.
The Fox Disney rights situation sort of puts X-Men on the animated series on the shelf for years. Nobody sort of celebrates it. Nobody revives it. But then years later, you were convinced by a very nice lady that I found very nice in meeting her tonight, Julia. She said, convinced you to write a book about making the show. Why did that feel urgent? Why did that feel urgent to you?
Well, I think because, first of all, there wasn't a lot of work for a couple of years there. Things were kind of thin, and so I certainly had the time. But it felt urgent because it had been such a special experience for us. And we had a sense that there were there was a certain amount of fans out there. Again,
the internet is it's the internet now,
but
and even in 2017, but
we thought, okay, this is a story that we can tell from the inside, having lived through it for 5 years.
Right.
Of all the people to tell this is like, okay, if you want to do this thing about the Star Trek TV show, have Gene Roddenberry write it, have the person that took it from A to B to C to D to E and then was with it the whole time. So it was the only one, we'd done other series, but they were smaller series. They were ones we were less emotionally involved in, most of them. This was the one thing that we really took from the beginning, made with everybody else's, working with us, made successful, and followed through to the end. So, okay, this is, I fit for this book. And I also was curious to talk to all the people that worked on it, to call old friends after 20 years and say, well, give me 10 pages of Len Wein or whoever, give me 10 pages worth of anecdotes about what the show meant to you. And the fabulous thing for me, besides meeting the cast for the first on the phone, it wasn't even over computer, it wasn't even a facial thing. Meeting the cast was all these people who I didn't really know or didn't know what they were going through. They gave different perspectives on what the 5-year experience had been. And so I'd written a kind of a rough draft at first, and I found myself going back and changing a lot of things and filling in gaps where I wasn't aware that certain crises had happened, or they kept problems from me, or they whatever it was. It really it was a wonderful research year for me, getting to know all the different sides to what all these people went through to make the show.
And at the same time, we were coming up on various anniversaries, like the 20th anniversary of Batman, or shows of that time. Yeah. And no one was celebrating dear old X-Men. And we were not going to cons or events. We didn't know how, and we didn't have anything to offer.
Fox on some rights and Marvel on some rights. Scattered. So nobody's interested at all in giving us 5 cents to do so we just did the book ourselves. And since it's just writing and interviewing and not lots of artwork. It wasn't a very expensive thing. I mean, it took a year, but it was.
But thank you, Abrams Books, for publishing
Yeah,
this book.
yeah. This is a small publishing company out here. So, but yeah, it would kind of been left out. And then after this book came out, almost very soon after, all the rights got back together. And so Marvel's looking around and saying, all right, well, what do we do with X-Men now?
Or can we do something with X-Men now?
And so they called us and they said, okay. And we thought maybe they were mad at us, but we didn't know.
He gets an email from the vice president in charge of global licensing, Marvel Disney. And it's like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Did we
do something wrong?
Oh dear.
Did we say something wrong in the book?
Oh dear.
And he said, no, we all of us in the office read the book. We'd like to do an art book.
And we'd like you to do it if you'll do it with us.
To as a compliment to it.
That is dope.
Yeah. And so a lot of the original artists did the cover. They did a lot of art inside the book. It's got designs from all the different. It's got lots of the original art cells.
I'm going to try and find some. There's some specific,
but
it's full of this
one.
This one's full of art.
This was like a tenth as much text because it didn't have as many interviews and things in it.
I'm just going to hold this up quickly, but you can see.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
It's just full of all the things that went to putting it together. And that was even a new learning thing. I had to talk to some of the production people that would get 100-pound box of storyboards and original designs and have to send it over to Korea. And what it was like to actually put it. Actually, I'll put it together. What it took to make a show.
We didn't know.
We're just worried about the scripts. We're just worried about the scripts and what a recording sounds like. They're doing all the artwork. They're doing all the production work, all the heavy lifting. And so we learned all sorts of stuff from the people. What an effort it was in the old days. When it was all hand drawn.
Okay. All right. Let me show them this.
Sure. Okay. She has her favorite anecdote.
My favorite thing.
It's
all right. So Larry Houston, over the course of an amazing weekend, is the fellow who crafted the original storyboards for the iconic opening of X-Men.
The opening credits, the 1 minute long opening credit sequence.
And so he had those original boards, and we were able to put them
on this
as the front page and the back pages of the book. What we found out, though, I'm looking at this, and Eric's with me, and we're going, okay, we recognize all these sequences. It goes to Beast, and it's about to go to Gambit. And we're looking at that with Gambit, and I'm going, something's not right.
And look.
If you look at the Ace of Spades, the pip for the Ace of Spades is upside down.
Oh, it's upside down.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Small thing, but I thought, is that supposed to?
And that was just, that was
so we called Larry Houston and said, was that an overseas error? What's up with the upside down ace? And he said, oh, no, I'll double check. And he goes, oh.
He said, oh, damn.
I drew it wrong.
He drew it wrong.
In the speed of things, he drew it wrong. And it made it through to finals. So every episode you've ever seen, this pip for the Ace of Spades, the Gambit throws, is upside down.
And so segueing to X-Men 97, we tell the X-Men 97 people this anecdote, and they said, oh my God, we've got to do that for 97. So in the 97 opening titles,
when Gambit's there,
if you freeze, they did an upside down spade as well as an homage.
There you go.
Oh, that's so cool.
I love that kind of backstage stuff, but that was just
those little nitty gritty details like that. Those are fun.
I love that. Yeah. So yes, didn't mean to go too far.
Yeah. Oh no, that was great.
Great, thank you.
Because definitely knowing the ins and outs of the book too, but. As we jump to X-Men 97 too, you go from consulting to executive producers from season 1 to season 2. So how did it feel to return as consulting producers for X-Men 97? And what was your role in shaping the new series while maintaining that legacy of the original too?
Getting invited back to the party in Los Angeles, Hollywood, it doesn't often happen. And it was a real delight to know that X-Men was going to be happening again. What became X-Men 97. Didn't know if we would have a role in it at all. Quite honestly, you don't know. I mean, just hearing things in the wind, you go, and then
yeah,
what's going on. And then the two of us and Larry Houston were approached about coming on as consulting producers. It's like, Oh my gosh.
And
we get to go back to the party.
And really not all of the work was done by a bunch of 30-somethings.
You are now the Stan
like
Lee.
yeah, we're now I'm Stan Lee. I'm looking over these 30-year-olds. And they spent like a year and a half building this thing before we even stuck our noses in. We don't want to take any credit for what they built in this first season. So what they said was, we're really at a place now where we really have the show the way we want it, and we're animating, and we've got the storyboards, and we got the scripts done. We want you to come in and be our first audience for this. So we'll show you. We'll show you a rough episode, and let you say, okay, I think I could see something more Wolverine could do there, or that really bothers me. I don't think Beast would do that, or whatever it is from our 5 years of experience living with these characters, to have an opinion and just again, advice, consult. They didn't have to listen to a word of it. There was no, we weren't running the show. They were running the show. They built it. They drew it. Now, they did say that they all had a copy of the book, and they all used it kind of as a template because
we had all the original art models for all the characters.
Yeah, so they wanted it to be a continuation, not a new or different thing. So they said, okay, we need it to look. Nice. It's going to be 30 years newer looking as far as the technique goes, but we want it to feel the same to the audience, so they feel like it go from episode 76 to episode 1, and feel like it's episode 77. Feels like the story is just continuing.
That.
Yeah.
And that's we thought, oh God, this is going to be so hard to do. It's going to be so hard for them to do. And they just did such a wonderful job. We couldn't believe it. So it was all a gift to us. This first season was just okay. Looks wonderful. Looks wonderful.
My big contribution.
It was not a lot of work on our part.
There was one character who's talking to Hank McCoy and says, Henry. And I said, he's Hank. Henry is Henry Gyrich. That's
little things.
Politically correct.
Thank you.
Little things like that.
Yeah.
But since we started doing it in little bits and pieces and getting to know the wonderful people that are doing the new show, we've been becoming incrementally more involved. Yeah. And that's when they asked us to become, executive producers. Not a whole lot more work, but brought us in earlier in the process than for the first season. And that's been one. And again, we don't feel like, I feel like we could have not been involved at all, and they would have been so reverent to the original series that they would have been fine, and we would have liked their show. But they're like a couple generations younger than us. They've been through a different world than we have. The stories are going to have their own tone to it, their own perspective to it. It's not going to be the same as ours. Just like ours wasn't the same as Stan's. Doesn't mean Stan's was wrong, but a 30-year gap. The world has changed. The world has evolved. I don't think we ever would have thought of having characters walking around with signs saying, Magneto was right.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. They're just or dancing in discotheques. It wasn't part of the 90s culture for us.
Right.
It's just amazing to me, the durability of the X-Men characters and what the stories they can tell continues to be. That in 1992, there were a lot of things, Saturday morning kids cartoon, that we could not discuss in an overt way. But the stories we were able to tell, resonated with people. And here we are 30 years later and still telling stories that, oh my gosh, again, bright colors, things blow up. Yeah. But there's still rotten things happening in the world, and the X-Men allow them to tell those stories.
And Jack Kirby and Stan set up such a perfect thing where you've got these heroes that are distrusted and feared because they're so special.
And they're born that way.
Because they're different. It's not their choice. They're born that way. What an emotional setup for all sorts of groups of people to find a way into this. The fan, the emails we've gotten over the last 10 years since we started the books and going to cons, just how much it's been part of their lives and how close they feel to what these characters are going through. Stan and Jack set that up with the X-Men setup, with the mutant setup.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've said on our show when we're discussing all the various IPs that a lot of the IPs do really well when it reflects a lot of what's going on in our world, and characters can be really relatable, even if it's like being mutants with different things compared to the real world. But it's very powerful in how it resonates with people. You touched
Jen,
on it
real quick too. I think just Marvel in general, like their characters feel that way. Like there are no fiction. There's not that many fictional cities in Marvel, right? Like there's an actual New York. There's an actual like they go to these actual locations. They grow up there, so they feel like real people. You know, there's a Gotham and a Metropolis, but we're New York. We can go there. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's
I have many moments like New York again. Great.
Yeah.
Yay.
But no, it's just feeling like that where like just all the characters from X-Men there, like just the picture here.
Oh
yes.
It's just every one of them, personality, certain objectives, certain mindset, and it felt real. It felt grounded, you know, especially for animation. It always felt that way. Even the original series to this one for season 1.
Yeah.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that.
And then something you guys kind of touched on a little bit, but just for the sake of going a little bit deeper, being in this new position, what is it like to oversee 3 congruent timelines, a 3-in-1 special, if you will, where it all has to converge, and then, you know, architecting the writers in the writers' room, putting it together where it goes along with Apocalypse. What is that like?
Oh, gee,
How about we talk in a year?
Right. That was very ambitious, but the end of season one,
which we can talk about,
which we can because it's out there, and they split them into split them into 3. And so, obviously, I mean, if you've been watching television any time in the last 50 years, you know that if there's at the end of a season, there's a cliffhanger and characters have been separated, that what's the muscle in the fans that's going to be activated is how are they going to get them back together?
Yeah. How are they going to resolve
it? How are they going to resolve it?
1,000,000%, yes.
So you asked about a one word for what may be coming in the second season.
Or phrase.
Or phrase. And I just say reunion, because they got to get them back together somehow. I don't know how, I can't say anything about how they manage it, but you're not going to end up at the end of season 2 with them, without them working to get back together. I mean, that's going to be from the first minute. They're going to want to they don't want to be in these 3 separate timelines. They want to get the team back together.
Yeah.
I'm going to say my phrase is going to be, "It's back, baby." Because it's all cylinders.
Yay!
It's pretty spectacular, and we do love Apocalypse, and everyone knows that he's going to be. I mean, he's hinted in the last episode.
That image of him is just terrifying.
He's going to be a major part of the ongoing story for season 2, and so we're so fond of him, and he was just so different. He was able to. Some of the mutants had other interests. Sinister had his interests. Magneto has interests, but Apocalypse was something else, was something other, and he was just great fun to write for.
There was a great line from the original series with he's pondering something, and then "I simply am." That was I am. And we had a person come up to us and say, when I was in 2nd grade watching that show at recess, I got called out by the teacher, and I just said, "I simply am." Oh my God. I love that so much.
That is great.
But for us, it's been incredibly rewarding to be able to figure out how to find ways to communicate with folks who are fans of the show. Again, we knew when the show hit, because we would get the weekly Nielsen ratings faxed to us just because we were part of the show. And we could tell that the show was doing, we knew the numbers.
Great.
But we weren't working in an office on the Fox studio lot. There was no main office for the.
Yeah.
We would hear. My one story is, would occasionally have to go to the Fox studio to turn some things in, pick some things up, and one of the folks who worked there, who has since become an extremely successful animation writer herself, Charlotte Fullerton, was there working on the office side of things.
Yeah.
And I just, are you getting any kind of feedback here at the studio, about X-Men? Is anyone
how popular it is around the country?
What do you? And she said, "Come with me." And took me into a hallway and those big milky mail
post office
bins that you see sometimes mailmen.
Each one has 300 or 400 letters in it.
Yeah. There was a stack of them up to the ceiling, all the way down the hall, all the way back up the hall. And she said, every one of those, that's for X-Men.
Every one of those is for X-Men.
What?
That's a sight.
So to see that,
my
really
goodness,
made it kind of feel a little more real for me. And then our two sons, our youngest son was born the October the show premiered. Our other one was a year and a half old at that time. And just have them growing up
around
while
us.
The show was happening was was really fun.
They dress up like Wolverine for Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a 2-year-old's X-Men crew jacket.
And just that was.
Look at that. I love it. That would be something else. Mom, please, mom.
So it's been really rewarding now.
Yeah. And everywhere we go, if we wear like an X-Men hat or something or a T-shirt, we had a job.
There you go, Julia.
There you go.
We had a job in Singapore, and we're checking our luggage with the TSA
and
people.
I was wearing this, which is just
all these Malaysian.
Just as previously on X-Men. On my jacket.
Workers rushed up around us, 7 or 8 of them, and said, "Oh, X-Men, it's my favorite show. Storm is so strong."
So you mean X-Men? This was 25 years after the show was off the air.
Yeah.
So
wow.
We discovered that all over the world, Fox was really good at distributing their shows. And so every single country, that allowed Western television of any kind, kids grew up on watching the show. So it's hundreds of millions of people, which is a very scary thing to try to put in your head. That, little story you wrote, all these people watched it, and some of them were really affected by it.
Yeah. I mean, just like talking to you now it's unbelievable. I speak for Jen too. Like I'm like, I just let him go. Yeah, I want to hear whatever. I want to see everything on the back wall. I've been trying to look and see what's back there.
Yeah, I'm like, what books are those back there?
Could we talk the
Pizza Hut boxes from
the Pizza Hut?
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
Late '92 when they came out, and you got a VHS.
I remember those.
You got a VHS tape with it, and
if you paid your cards right, you got an X-Men Power Cup with the Pizza Hut pizza.
My childhood.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it right now, and we have the VHS tapes you could buy
for $2.99, I think.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
So,
but it's just it's fun holding on to this stuff. And
well,
it's your babies. These are all your babies.
Yeah,
I got a certain amount of grief at the beginning of our haul because it's like, well, where are we going to put all this stuff? It's like, well,
over the garage.
We have space over our garage, and we
wow,
happen to hang on to all the scripts and all the storyboards that we had from the original X-Men show. And it's like, okay, all right, we have material. No one else has this.
And that was really crucial in writing the book, because we had all the details and even like early drafts of things.
Yeah, going back and referencing things to make sure everything is correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great.
And he was asking about
here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
About time travel.
The Pizza Hut cassettes.
The Pizza Hut cassettes.
Wow.
With the Pizza Hut videotape and the comic book still attached. So
Look at that.
Tell me you can smell the Pizza Hut. Tell me.
Oh, you could. You could.
When Pizza Hut used to be a respected establishment, man. You can eat in there. You're supposed to eat in Pizza Hut.
Yes. I mean, those red booths, those giant red plastic cups. Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
With a ton of ice.
So
so again, can't appreciate y'all enough for hopping on with us too. I have two more things because we have some questions from the comments. But
sure.
One last thing too. You also worked. You talked about it earlier. You worked on Young Hercules.
Yes, with Brian.
With none other than a young a young Ryan Gosling.
She got to hug him twice.
I did. He was
Did he smell good?
He was 18, so he was 18 when she hugged him, so it was okay.
Yes, but I asked him, and he said it was okay. Yes.
So, let me ask you this, because
there's our young Hercules up there. Oh, you got
young Hercules
there.
So you guys have known Ryan since he was 18. What is it like for you to see him and how he has grown in his career and all the work he's done? I mean, he's done so much. Now he has Hail Mary in the theaters. What is that like for you, being able to witness that?
She always talks about like he's one of our kids. Like we're gonna go see young Ryan in a movie.
I always call him young Ryan. I can't even call him Ryan or Ryan Gosling. And I don't know. He would be polite enough if we ever bumped into him somewhere in the world to go, oh yeah, I remember young Hercules. I remember, but he would have he'd have no business being that charming. But he, at the time, because we still somewhere have the bloopers reel from a young Hercules. And even in the bloopers reel, he was like, this kid's got it. Whatever it is, he's got it. And he held that show. He was the focus.
50 episodes. He was
back to back.
He was the lead in every single one. They did 2 a week for 25 weeks.
Filmed down in New
Zealand.
That's how much he worked as 17, 18-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And poor guy was like 6 feet and 130 pounds.
You can see there in that.
They worked him out, but they couldn't, there's just so much muscle you can put on an 18-year-old kid. But
they contoured him with a great deal of air tan.
Air tan and heavy clothes. Yeah. But he was such a young professional. He's such a good guy. He has that reputation out here. Everybody works with him. He's just wonderful to work with.
Yeah.
And he could have a huge head. He could be the biggest jerk on the planet. He's so nice.
It was like when Barbie came out, there was an interview where Margot Robbie my close personal friend Margot Robbie was giving him a little grief because she had found out he was in a show called Young Hercules and had since gone on to find it. And he was very sweet in defending. He said, "No, I really appreciated working on Young Hercules. I really liked doing that show." It's like, oh, that's all I ever needed to hear was that that show. So yeah,
we do like to do a little fantasy casting on this channel too.
Yeah, we do.
Seeing how you had that time with a young Ryan Gosling, if you could cast him in a live action X-Men as a live action X-Men character at this age, let's do this age and his current age. So at 17, 18 for young Hercules, is there anyone that jumps out that he could fit?
Oh, we're thinking maybe we only had him as a guest star a couple times. Bobby Drake, Iceman,
as a 17 or 18-year-old.
Yeah, that maybe and although we played him a little bit more obnoxious than Ryan. Ryan's so sweet and so likable. I'm trying to think who he might be. If he painted in blue, he could be Nightcrawler.
Oh, that's interesting, Nightcrawler.
Because Nightcrawler has a real sweet nature.
Okay.
You're charming Nightcrawler, I tell you that.
And thinking right now, it would be a real change up, but I think he could be a real fun Gambit.
Yeah.
I can now, with his look, he's got a little gravitas on him. He's got
okay.
Yeah.
Think
of what's the Emma Stone movie that he did when he had like the six pack and
several, but which one? Oh no, okay.
where she said he looks like he was photoshopped.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah. Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great line too.
Yeah. Yeah. So take that, Ryan Gosling. Let him be Gambit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although, cool.
Yeah.
Although he's not mysterious, he's so that there's that problem. But yeah, that's a tough call. He's special himself. I'm hoping he's got another 30 years of fun,
at least,
fun stuff ahead of him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I'm sure.
We love him here.
Good.
We do.
But just a few questions real quick, and we'll let you head on out here. But thanks again for
we work at home together. We're just gonna be here.
We'll pull an all-nighter.
Let's
see. What questions do we have here? Someone asked about the theme song. Let's pull this one up. I'm not sure.
That's all the way at the top, I think, by Sage.
So the first question was the X-Men theme based off a Whitney Houston song.
Not that we're aware of.
It is not. We have specifically there. Okay, a wonderful, talented composer named Ron Wasserman is the fellow who wrote the theme song for X-Men the Animated Series, and he was working for Saban at the time on staff as a composer there. So he was just getting his weekly salary. Great. And he started coming up with ideas for the X-Men theme song. And Will Mineo and Larry Houston
and Sidney pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. What he's used to at Saban, everybody's used to just kind of doing something quick and dirty, and they don't care. They just want to do it cheap. Mm-hmm. But we just needed something, and our producers, Will and Larry, and Sidney just said, okay, no, this needs to be more intense. This needs more. This is not X-Men yet. This is not, this is not rocking enough. This is not going. So they pushed him and pushed him and pushed him and made him do like 20 passes at it. And finally, boom, it's right. And it's this immense hit. And of course, then we look at the credits, and one of the Saban executives, Shuki Levy, got credit for it because there's money in it.
See, yeah, Ron.
And since he was an employee, they wouldn't give him credit on the show, because if they give credit on the show, he'd get the ASCAP or BMI check, and the company wouldn't. So a senior vice president at Saban took credit for it on the show, but the guy that wrote it's Warner Osserman. And get this, he also wrote the Power Rangers.
That guitar had
one guy that goes to
that. I don't know how many times when we talk about Power Rangers, we have talked about that.
And he got like he got his salary and a handshake for that work.
For both of those. Yeah.
Oh,
man. And I see often, Whitney Houston, we've talked to him, we've been there. We can tell you that was not in his sphere of influence when he was crafting those songs. What was in his sphere of influence was Larry and Will and Sidney going, that's not X-Men enough. That's not X-Men enough. There was Sidney Iwander had one last thing that I thought, I liked the way he referenced it, because X-Men looks the way it looks. It was a fast show, but everyone was pumping their energy into it.
It was quick and modestly budgeted. Batman was expensively budgeted and beautiful.
Every frame you can pause on Batman, and just as gorgeous to look at. So Sidney said, okay, Batman is smooth jazz.
Cool jazz.
X-Men is a garage band. And it's like, okay, I like that.
Absolutely.
They both kind of found their lanes.
Yeah.
And, nice to be part of a world where Batman happened at the same time. That was
it was great.
Yeah.
It was like siblings.
Yeah.
Sibling rivalry as we were making the show with them.
They have
just
more
being
money.
on the other side of the TV screen and having those two at the same time, like just that early 90s to really the whole 90s. Like Batman, X-Men, here comes Spider-Man, and then here we're taking off. Here comes Superman. Here comes that was for me golden age of comics. I wasn't there for that, but I was there for the golden age of animated cartoons, and you all contributed to that like wholeheartly with this. I like the smooth jazz with Batman though. Smooth jazz.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Isn't that right?
That guitar riff, that guitar. The amount of times I've played air guitar to the X-Men theme song is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous high number. But we can take one more question, because I think we covered a few of them that were asked in here.
Yeah, no, we did actually.
Yeah, we covered a lot of them. There was one I think I missed just from Sage. Another one, because we talked about how meetings stand during that time.
I'm looking for it too.
X-Men was that? Yeah, we covered so we'll go with this. Just last one. So did writing on the show make you fans of the comics?
Yes, but more the fans of the comics that had been written in the 70s and early 80s, like Chris Claremont era, because that's where we kept on. We looked at some of the comics, and the current ones were like too ferociously intense and bloody and violent for Saturday morning.
And there's a lot going on, different branches of different things.
The early ones were too young for us, but there was a sweet spot from when Len Wein and Chris Claremont stepped in 75 through about 85, that those stories, which included the couple that were direct adapted, most of them were
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, most of them were that we came up with were original stories that took little bits and pieces from some of the old ones.
Which is also nice that folks
But
say, oh, it was all
Days of Future Past
books.
and the two Phoenix sagas were ones after the show was set up and successful. We asked, well, can we do, this big thing that was your crown jewel? And they said, yeah, let's do that. And so that was a whole other question.
And episodes 11, 12 of the first season, as the show was going on, I said, okay, for episodes 11, 12, can we do a Days of Future Past, the big Chris Claremont crown jewel? Mm-hmm. And they weren't sure we were going to pull it off, so it was called
Future Tense.
They weren't sure it was going to happen, but if you look at it, it's like, there's no Kitty Pride, right? We got to put
there's no Kitty,
Wait, what?
We had to
a lot of stuff had to get changed.
Make it fit.
We had the nice pleasure. That's not going to show up, but we got to meet Chris Claremont at a con, and I think
a couple times. We had never met him while we were doing the show. He was on doing whatever he was doing, and he was in New York and we were here, and he was, he had his work, and we realized later that he was by far. Now Len Wein, who again was a major force. He came up with half our cast back in the 70s. He was actually out here.
We didn't know.
And we didn't know for the first season. So we didn't hire him. We found out, my God, he's in town. So we hired him to do four episodes over the next 4 seasons. And that was great. He was just a gem of a man. He was wonderful.
That is dope.
Yeah.
Well, Eric and Julia, it's been like an absolute joy to talk to you all tonight and to go back down
memory lane.
X-Men. Oh, it's been so good. But before I let you go, where can fans find you? Books, social media, upcoming appearances, all that.
I am on way too often on Twitter X and
Twitter X,
and look at me, I can't even think straight here. And Instagram, yes, and it's X-Men TAS, and that's for X-Men the animated series, which is how we distinguished it the way Star Trek TOS is Star Trek the original series. So we're X-Men TAS on Twitter, on Twitter X, on Instagram, and on Blue Sky occasionally. Please, we have a website that we have not been keeping up, but if you're interested in doing deep dive stuff, there's
lots of anecdotes and artwork and stuff on it.
A couple hundred of things there at xmentas.com.
Right.
We have the books. We will be in Ontario, California next month.
A couple weeks, there's a nice mid-sized con in Ontario, which is about an hour from us. And then in September, there's this wonderful thing called the Uncanny Experience, which happens in Minneapolis. There's this 7-story 1908 gentleman's club that they turn into the X Mansion.
It is magnificent.
In downtown Minneapolis.
And it is a cosplay event. And you are there
as for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And
Dion, we're putting this on the All-Star Fandom bucket list now.
They have a limit to like 1,200, 1,300 tickets because of fire rules, whatever. But it's all X-Men people, and we've been every year. Chris Claremont's been a couple of years. The voice talent, usually there's 2 or 3 of the voices there. George Beast is going to be there this year. And
we get to be professors who teach.
We get to pretend to be.
That's so cool. I love it.
And then at the end of it, if you're there, and at the end of it, then you get
a professor.
This is
diploma.
A diploma.
You get the diploma, man.
You get a diploma. And this one's signed by Professor Claremont. Good Lord.
Professor Claremont.
Professor Claremont signed this one. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yay!
You get a little.
So it's a wonderful people behind it, true believers, and they've always treated us perfectly. And it is very much the premier X-Men experience that we're aware of on the planet.
We're not sure about San Diego Comic-Con this year. We are fortunate to be relatively new grandparents. One of our grandson was born 2 years ago.
Each boy had a kid.
Yeah.
Within 6 weeks. Their
Of
wives had kids within 6 weeks of each other.
Wow.
He happened to come during Comic-Con. So we
had to skip out on a panel to raise up to see our first grandkid 2 years ago.
Family first. That's a good reason to skip a panel. Go see the grandbaby.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Eric, Julie, we got to get you down here for Dragon Con too. And
Oh, yeah.
You know
And
what?
Comic-Con.
Yes, you do.
We've never been to Dragon Con. There was a different one that was more anime that we
Anime
went
Con,
to
I think it was
about
called.
like
6 years ago.
MomoCon, maybe that's another one. Yeah.
And it
But-
wasn't the right fit for what we offer.
Yeah,
you know,
but Dragon Con would be very cool. We would enjoy it.
Oh,
Just
they
Would you
got
let
come
them
up
know.
to my
Just
neck
tell
of the
them.
woods in New York for New York
Oh,
Comic Con?
Oh my
we
God.
we were there last year.
we didn't even talk about that. We didn't even talk
We
about
didn't
that.
talk for
We'd never
instance,
been. We'd
never been, and then we get this last minute call to saying we're going to premiere like 90-second teasers of 5 new shows at the biggest auditorium there, and X-Men 97 is one of them. We want you to come and be part of the presentation. So we were there, and Charlie Cox from Daredevil was there, and the Vision was there.
Paul
Yes.
And all these people, Wonder Man, and so that was so cool. They drove us into the Javits Center, got us up there on stage. Hello. It was like, you're in, you're out.
I've never been treated that well before. It was
But
amazing.
it was fabulous. So that was our first time at NYCC.
But I gotta
Wow.
say, we were the only animation act with Marvel's TV product at that moment.
Mm.
Yeah.
And, okay, we're here. Yeah, I'm not a voice. I'm not a face. I'm just over here in the corner. And I'd broken my arm, and
She'd broken her, cracked her hip.
So I've got a cane, and I'm just kind of over here in the corner going,
Oh my
waiting to go on.
gosh.
And then, so we're just sort of chatting and being quiet. Charlie Cox, Mr. Daredevil himself, comes up and he takes my hands and he says, "We know who you are." It's like,
There, oh boy.
What?
She could die happy
Oh,
now.
I will.
Golly.
and then, and what that meant to me is they appreciated what X-Men animated series did in terms of the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
And then afterwards, when we were done, Paul Bettany said, "You were charming." It was like, oh.
So
Well,
it was,
2 for 2.
Let's be honest, you guys are technically X-Men Marvel royalty.
Yes.
we'll take it.
And I'm
Sitting here with
And
my
I'm-
sippy cup.
and I'm a part of. I'm inside Dragon Con's like Discord channel or their digital track.
Oh, yeah.
I will clip that clip and put in there, and
Yes.
hopefully the X-Men event or convention isn't during Labor Day weekend, because it's every Labor Day weekend here.
Oh, is that? Oh,
for
okay.
Dragon Con? Yeah, it's every Labor Day weekend.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah, no. Labor Day is like the first or second is the first weekend of September. It's like September 12th, 13th, something like that.
Oh, they got to add you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
make.
we
I'm gonna make this happen.
gotta blast
You
him
can-
in there.
You can sleep in our guest room.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
and X-Men 97 will
I'll
have
drive
just
you.
because X-Men 97 is coming out this summer, whatever that means. So it will have played probably most of it
Ooh, yes.
by the time September comes around.
And so there may be
The
folks
new-
with pitchforks coming after us with the second season.
But hey, we can actually talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, right?
I like
But
it. I like
again,
it a lot.
Eric, Julia, thank you so much for hopping on with us. Jen.
Oh,
You want to close
Jen.
us out or get last word in? And Eric and Julia, stick around on the back end. We'll talk right after it. Okay.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hey, everyone who hung out with us tonight here, as we were talking to Mrs. and Mrs. Lewald, the pillars of animation that we all grew up with. Thank you so much for joining us here on All-Star Fandom Prime. We are here every Wednesday, 9:05 p.m. ish, give or take. And again, we've had the joy of speaking with Eric and Julia Lewald. Thank you so much for coming on. So until next time, Dion's up there, I'm down here, Doc is cooking, and the Lewalds will be somewhere in your area at a convention. And
Dragon Con,
Right?
they'll be here.
yeah, we're here at Dragon Con. Have a good night,
Until
everyone.
next time.
Peace.
Peace.